Today we have a X164 Mercedes-Benz, and it's in need of a rear ball joint. And I'll show you how you can tell is by that. So that's what we're going to work on today. So here we have the new ball joint, and at first look it's going to look a little different because it has this, I don't know what you call it, but it's a huge nut on the bottom, whereas the old one doesn't have that. And I'm going to show you how to install that. And you do need to install this tool here. I got them both from FCP Euro, and they came in a few days. And this tool fits in here, and you use this to tighten that nut with. So here are the part numbers for both. This is the tool, and this is the actual ball joint. They have different brands. I chose TRW. Next. So the first thing you have to do is, after you have it lifted, is take the wheel off. So. Sometimes these can get stuck on there, but I think I had this off not too long ago to change the brakes. So. Next, we're going to loosen this axle nut using a 36mm socket. I'm using an air compressor to take it off, so it allows me to do it while the vehicle is off the ground. But if you are not using an air compressor, you will need to have the wheel on the car with the vehicle on the ground to loosen this. And the way you do that is you pop this center cap off from the center of the wheel while the wheel is still on the vehicle, and you use a breaker bar to loosen it. The air compressor needed air, so you're going to finish it using this socket. If you do have the vehicle on the ground, you might just want to take it all the way off. I can leave it a little loose for now. I can take it off, it doesn't matter. But just get that pretty much all the way off. Next, we're going to take off the brake caliper. You will need to take these little covers off, the front and the bottom slider pins, and using a, what is that? It is a 7mm hex socket to loosen up both slider pins. One up top, another one all the way in the bottom here. Here. Next, we will take the caliper completely off, squeezing a little bit with a screwdriver right there makes it come out a little less easier. You also have to take this front spring off. And set your caliper somewhere over there. That should be fine. It ain't going anywhere. Just make sure it doesn't hang. Remove the other brake pad. Now, next we are going to take out the caliper bracket, which is this one bolt here. This one bolt here, and then this other bolt here. Next, we have to take out the caliper brackets, and in order to do that, we need to remove these two 18mm bolts. And I had them loosened before I started recording. So. Next, we have to take out this Torx bit from in here, and that is a T30 to remove the rotor, brake rotor. All right, next we're going to take out this trailing arm, I believe it is, and to do that you need an 8mm wrench, 8mm socket on this side, and next we're going to take out this upper control arm, and by doing that we're going to put an 18mm wrench on this one side, 18mm socket from this other side, and we will remove that bolt. Remove this little plastic bracket out the way. We're going to completely take out that wire for the ABS sensor. And then try and get this bolt off. Just you might need to put a screwdriver in there on the bolt and just kind of tap that bolt out of there. Now we're going to remove this other trailing arm from the hub assembly, and again 18mm and 18mm. When you're hammering out bolts like that, you gotta be kind of careful that you don't mess up the threads. So make sure you hit it from the tip. That's that. Next, we're gonna unplug this ABS sensor, and we're gonna do that by sliding it off from this bracket, which is gonna come towards you. Slide off, then unclip. Unclip it from the connector there, and get that out of the way. Next, we are going to disconnect this e-brake cable here, and the best way to do that is from the joint section there where the left and the right rear cable join together, and I'll show you that in a second. And this is where we get that cable for the brake, emergency brake cable off. There's a clip here, a safety clip. You gotta just pull that off right here. Next, you gotta get the cable. You gotta go around, and it'll come out. You'll see it. There's an area here you got to bring it towards, and then it'll come out. Next, got to get the cable out of here, and we do that with a pair of pliers. So there's going to be two tabs on here on either side. You're going to squeeze those tabs in so it will release the cable. Easier said than done though. I'm on the wrong side. Next, we have to get the cable out from this clip here, and I think you're gonna have to take out the whole thing together, like so. Take the rest of that axle nut off if you haven't already taken it off. Now, they will be stuck like that. And if you can get a rubber mallet in there and bang it out, sometimes that doesn't work. Now we'll use a metal. Be careful not to hit the threads. You will damage the threads. Okay, it wasn't coming out, so I had to use this 3-jaw puller, and I think I got it out. It's still a little stuck in there, but I think a couple little bangs will get it out. And that is out. And just pull that out and put it aside. Now we'll take out the 24mm bolt. Looks like I'm going to need more air. Now we're going to take out this ball joint bolt. It's a T45, not a T40. It goes in the center here, and then you have a 24mm wrench here, and I had to heat it up because it was being very stubborn, so I gave it some heat with my torch. And it's just one of these torches you can get at Lowe's. Heat it up for about a good minute, and then some WD-40. She's coming out. There it is. And we'll put it on the bench to get the ball joint up. Next, we're going to get this ball joint out of the hub assembly, and usually you can just bang them right out of there. I'm going to put the new ball joint on. As you can see, they're a lot different. This one has the thread on the bottom. That's what's going to press it in. So we're going to put this in like so. Get this thread started here. And then now we use our tool that we bought. You're going to need an adapter to go to a 1/2-inch driver. Get that on there. And tighten that in. Slide that back on, tighten down your ball joint bolt, and you're going to want to do this tighten it all the way now, because otherwise it will be very difficult to get this in there. So I suggest you tighten this down first. Gonna slide our axle back into the hub. Alright, now we will attach this trailing arm back to the wheel hub assembly. You're going to want to have the nut in there prior to putting the bolt all the way through, or else it just doesn't, you're not going to get it in there because of the emergency brake cable. So get that bolt on there, and then get it as tight as you can with your fingers. Alright, next, move on to we'll get this in. Like so. And the bolts don't sit all the way. Be afraid to give it a little whack from the back here. In order to get the upper control arm in, I had to use the jack to lift the whole hub assembly up a little bit. And it took a little muscle, and I got that nut in there. So now, pretty much put this nut on here, and we just got to tighten everything back down. And then you're pretty much done. Put your brake system on. I'll show you all that too. Okay. Tighten this trailing arm here. Again, 18 millimeters. And I got my 17. Now we'll put on the brake cable back on, and it's basically the reverse of taking it off. We're going to reattach the ABS sensor. And you might want to, I always like to put a zip tie on these things because they do come loose after a while and when they get old. So I'm going to throw a couple zip ties on there in a minute here. Next, we're going to put on our rotor back on. Gotta line it up so the hole for the screw lines up. Trouble before. You might have to, can you see this? You might have to loosen these brake drums up a little bit to get this back on. Jesus Christ, it came out no problem. I don't know how to go back with it. I don't know how to go back on. Your rotor back on, and you're going to line it up so your screw hole there comes to its proper position, which is right there. And then screw back on there with our Torx. Next, we'll install our brake caliper bracket. Turn on light. Next, we will install the brake caliper back on. Get your brake caliper back on, and make sure these pins are in their proper spot. Again, I'm gonna have to use the wrench to get this thing started. Only once we get enough room, we can use our socket. Now put your plugs back on for the slider pins and your spring back on for the caliper. Now, you want to get that axle nut back on there, but just started. You don't really want to tighten it until the wheel is completely on the ground. So when we get that on there, we'll put the wheel right back on. Once the vehicle is back on the ground, right, you can tighten this up. I believe it's 200 foot-pounds of torque, but you're going to want to look that up yourself.